Welcome, welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you have the medium to pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter, and we speak on any issues, including issues trending. And there's a lot of issues trending. One of them is intercal. You have issues with agriculture. On the regional setting, you have CARICOM response to a new economic phenomenon. In the international setting, you have Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump believing that the laws of diminishing return has set in the United States of America and some necessary action have to be taken. Uncomfortable medicine. Some people believe Donald Trump is way out. And some people sit down and ask why a country like the United States of America, the most powerful imperial power in the world, owes China over $800 billion. And China is not necessarily United States' friend. Why United States have 11% poverty? Why medical health in the United States is such a great challenge for the American? Why American businesses are leaving the United States and going out in other countries and produce goods for the American market? Why the United States of America have over 700 military bases all over the world? Some people is asking that. Why the United States, why soldiers from the United States body is littered all over Europe? From way back when, it seems the United States of America is fighting European wars. In all the big cemeteries in Europe, it is littered with U.S. soldiers' body. Is it the correct time for self-examination for Americans to do a self-examination and recognize that they've been providing incentives for even the enemies, and they should take strong medicine? Is American prepared to take strong medicine? They have been very successful and they have been very arrogant. And those who are successful and arrogant never want to recognize that they have to humble themselves and take medicine. Great empires have fallen, including the Roman Empire. Is it time now to salvage the American empire? Is Donald Trump correct, even if his actions is unpopular? Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Well, I keep calling the new ball for 2 days.
That's important. You mustn't stay away from the new ball long.
And today I want other listeners to take note because it's very interesting. Now, some of our activists staying too quiet. I will be one what not stay quiet. You know why? Because I realize under the past administration, if an item come up in a supermarket, everybody, Mitchell raised this again, Mitchell raised it. Somebody bungs the toe, Mitchell. Everything Mitchell. But today we have some political, you call them for the NDC, getting vexed, getting arrogant. They don't want you to say anything of the leader when it's going wrong. We are not cursing their leader, I told them. We are just pointing out areas because I realized this government had no plan for Grenada. This government just get into office by accident. They just whooping. Look, this morning I spoke to a Imani. All lies again. The Imani told me that they told them in a meeting they go make them permanent at the end of April. When she said she sit down and she consider her process, she said, so much of them, I wonder if that could be true. I said, well, this is what I promise you. This is what helped them to get to office. Imagine they tell them at the end of April they go make them permanent. And the same thing they criticize, they start taking in some for training and offering them a stipend of $700. They want to send them and do some training. This is just puppy show because of what they heard we are saying. We are advocating for the Ipani, as you said, one of the best programs in 100 years. And it's hurting them to strip that program just like that. So they're trying to give them some little bumble again. As this government is, their main policy is to lie. And they get worse. There is no way they could make 4,000 e-money permanent. But they tell them hold train. By the end of April, they will start to make them permanent. This is just talk, Mr. Pierre. I guess anybody take note who is listening. So I want we as activists don't stop. We have the programs. Keep saying what is wrong. As you say, your program is a program. I know your program is a program of truth because nobody never challenged what was said on target. So we should not stop saying what is wrong. Nothing wrong with that. But I notice they get vexed and they're attacking your personal. They're getting arrogant and they want you, don't call my leader name, or don't say that about whoever in this country ever take blows as Dr. Mitchell. Right now, again, Mr. Pierre, I notice if they open a thing a can beef, they want to call GIS. I want them to know, not by good works. The last election, Dr. Mitchell said, my work going to speak for me. And was not so, because the NNP did work. And right now, they have things the NNP do and they say they're not even talking about it. This present administration, if they do a hump in the road, they want GIS. Somebody gap, they fix, they want GIS. Everything they want GIS to say there is working. That shows weakness. We used to open 5 miles of road and we don't even talk up, we don't call no media. I could remember under the past region. So take note, supporters, let us continue to point out what is wrong because we have the facts. I rest my case.
Yeah, well, Color, NDC is the most disrespectful group of people in the country. They have criticized everybody. Some of the language and utterances that they use, I remember 8-10 years ago, was very critical of it, although never support to silence the press. And what was even worse, that the leadership in NDC endorsed the disrespectful statement and comments. So some of the reaction of NDC apologists, activists, and politicos is to get you to shut your mouth. If they could get you to shut your mouth, they are happy. I have said on many occasions that the NDC is the most destructive body towards agriculture in Grenada. The NDC is the most destructive towards agriculture. We have a situation in Maribou where the Ministry of Agriculture cut off the water to the farmers in Maribou. And the farmers believe there is no justification. They claim that they've been using the water for over 20 years. The water comes towards the Maribou Agriculture Station, and some of the water goes to the farmers in Lodbo. The farmers claim that have been going on much longer than 20 years, nearer to 30. At that time, the Ministry of Agriculture had no storage facilities. Now they have storage facilities. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 tanks there. So when they had no storage facilities, the farmers was using the water. The Ministry of Agriculture don't get bigger. They're not doing more activities than they used to do. They don't have a laundry of their washing clothes. So the quantity of water that they consume have not increased in any significant way. The farmers in Lodbo are not doing different things from what they did over the years. So the amount of water they are using have not increased in any significant way. The Ministry of Agriculture did not have storage. Now they have storage. The Ministry of Agriculture is not using the water in the night. So the farmers is arguing. There is no agricultural justification for cutting off the water from Maribou. It is mischief. It is political mischief. The government is vindictive. It is for political vengeance. One of the individuals that was spoken to, and it ended up on social media, as a result of what he did, and he spoke about it in Maribou, that very said individual is still farming on the hospital ground. No politician brought him on the hospital ground. Let us repeat that. This gentleman is not farming on the hospital ground because any politician gave him a favor. The gentleman is not openly involved in politics. Maybe he go and vote and he go back if he go and vote. The gentleman end up farming on the hospital ground because of the administrator in the hospital, not because of politician. The administrator in the hospital saw him walking, engage him, and invite him to come and do farming on the hospital ground. You're not paying a rent for that. I want to repeat that. I want the vindictive members of NDC that makes political mischief and the other people in agriculture who knew about it and shutting them out. I want to make it clear. The individual was not working in Maribou near to the hospital because of any favor from a politician. The administrator passed him and see him walking. And the administrator engaged him and asked him, are you interested in working the land on the hospital ground? He said, yes, I want a piece of land. So the administrator got him to start to work on the land. What is the agreement he have with the administrator? Every crop that you farm on the land, you must give some to the hospital. Every crop that you grow, you must give some to the hospital. This has been going on for 26 years. 26 years. But because the individuals spoke about the water in Lodbo, in Maribou, the minister, the parliamentary representative for St. Andrews Northwest, has decided they must throw out the individual from the farming he is doing on the hospital ground. People have to understand. The government cut off the water in Maribou. That is different from the hospital ground. Although both locations are in Maribou. The individual owned land in Lodbo, Maribou. He is still paying back the credit union for the land. So he spoke about the water that affect the farmers in Maribou in Lodbo. But he was also doing farming on the hospital ground in Maribou. So as a result of speaking on that, political vengeance, the minister, the parliamentary representative, and the minister of agriculture decide to get rid of him on the hospital ground. Now, where NDC get this hatred? I constantly ask the question. Deacon was new to politics. Why did this individual come in politics with all this bitterness, all this hatred, and all this vengeance? Why? When you propagate this level of evil and political vengeance to people who are not even involved in politics, this gentleman that is affecting the farm is not involved in NNP or NDC. He's just an ordinary farmer farming the land and employ his wife and children while he is still working. Now, we advance the view that the government have no justification for cutting off the water from the individuals who farming in Lodbo, Maribou. Lodbo is in Maribou. Why we say that? The agriculture station have not increased the productivity in any serious way over the last 20 years. So there is no need for them to use more water. We do not have a serious drought in the country. When the decision was taken to share the water with the farmers in Maribou, the Ministry of Agriculture did not have storage tanks. Today, the Ministry of Agriculture have storage tanks. The Ministry of Agriculture don't wet in the night. So even if the Ministry of Agriculture believe that they're not getting enough water, then why not say to the farmers, you cannot use water in the day. You're going to use water in the night, and we will use water in the day. Remember, I said to you, none of the group, whether the Ministry of Agriculture or the farmers in Lodbo, have not increased their productivity significantly to warrant a serious increase in water. When that agreement started over 20 years ago, the Ministry of Agriculture had no storage tanks. Today, They have storage tanks. So what is the justification for cutting off the water? I understand they believe that these individuals, some word come out that they must have seen one of the individual in close conversation with a member of NNP. And that started spiraling to the extent that they felt is necessary. You're not talking about an individual, you know. You're not talking about cousin Blashing. You're not saying the land is cousin Dan Leon, you know. Or cousin Ali Hadim, you know. The Ministry of Agriculture. So why the technical people in agriculture permitted themselves to be rammed and used as political tools? The permanent secretary, the chief technical officer, the agronomist in Maribou, you are being used as political tools to do the dirty political work of poor people terrorists. Why? There is no justification. It doesn't appear. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre, and how are you?
Great, man.
Yes, concerning this Maribou thing there, I heard is Mr. Bagwan, who is in the agriculture thing there? I heard he was talking the other day, and what I find funny, he was saying because of that is because that big stone fall in the dam, so the big stone suck up the water.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, first the line they're giving stupid and dirty excuse.
These people and them, they're wicked until they don't know what to say. A big stone fall in the dam. So, well, the stone suck. Either those stones don't suck up water. So that is the reason why the people and them line cut off. He should say something better than that. I'm surprised to hear him saying this kind of stupidness, because even though you have a stone in the dam, that can prevent the water. I find that should bring the stone go below and the water float higher. So I don't know. But anyway, God, you see these people and them with the wickedness. God, when you hear God turn back on them to whip them, people go sorry for them. Have a good day.
It appears that Deaton and his group of vultures have contaminated the technical minds in agriculture. Yes, scholar, welcome. We lost that color. Why in God's name does the technical people, the chief technical officer, the permanent secretary, the agronomist, all of them have to be complicit for this thing to go on? You're not talking, well, they would not have been able to go if it's somebody with big name in the country, perhaps like a Noel, a Ramdani, a Nayak, a Hutcherson. They would not have done that. But you see, the individual is the poor of the poor. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good morning.
Yes, scholar.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, scholar.
I'm hearing you speaking passionately about the Lodbo farmers. But are you aware that Lodbo farmers would come to the propagation station in Maribou and cut off the water? That the waters were wetting the plants. Propagated plants can't even get water. Are you aware that the system wasn't designed for all of these farmers, and farmer A is giving connection to farmer B and farmer C and farmer D? So now 200 feet of lines. Even the hospital, they cut off lines. So when you bashing everybody and you talk about agronomy, there are people listening here.
Caller. The Ministry of Agriculture cut off the water. Caller, I want them to listen to me.
Root is the one that call and make all of this mischief. And Root is coming and cut off the main line. But then they were in Lodbo during the day. So when you're talking, I said to you before, look for the facts. I know what is going on. I am an employee. I work there. Yes, they don't have water. They don't even clean the dam. They don't even clean the dam. They actually they don't help him. The government don't help him.
Caller, if you are an employee, call us back and prepare to answer question. If you are an employee, behave with maturity. Call us back, caller, now, and answer some question. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Hello?
Yes, go right
Yes.
ahead.
I'm so glad to see you strongly advocating on these farmers' behalf. Because for some days now, when you was hearing me pleading for people to stand in solidarity with these farmers. Mr. Pierre, there is nothing to justify why you cut off that water. And if you rightfully say for 26 years, this deployment day on the ground and Maribou station was not increased. No, they didn't have storage before. No, they have storage. You cut off the water. That don't make it no sense. You can't even tell Tommy James that to believe it. Mr. Pierre, there's nothing more than right what to rightfully say that political mischief.
Political
Mr. Pierre, when the
mischief.
Mr. Pierre, when the MP for St. Andrews Northwest was under NNP, that lady used to help NNP, and this is she didn't used to watch no color. No,
She
when
get
you have
converted and she turn.
you hear they say when you come over, sanitize yourself. So you know she have to do things to please these people to go along with the line. You understand? Mr. Pierre, this people and them for over the years now, this people and them just dangerous. These people and them they just dirty minded. You telling me people like farmers and health, you see, farming and health, agriculture and health, you shouldn't play politics in it. Food security, health security. You should not play politics with these things. It is not easy to plant all your products. You spend thousands of dollars. How much resources in the ground to and then watch your crops die for lack of water just
But they
because
say
of
let them
two people
starve. That is what
cherish and
NDC
mischief.
propagating. Let a pound stone in the
Yeah,
river. Let them starve.
Jesus. And I'm calling on
Well, this
farmers
is
of
not
this
farmers, you
nation,
know.
stand
Is
in solid
well,
solidarity with these farmers. Because, Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something. Today could be the man one. Tomorrow could be yours. I watch an episode of news again where a man cut a farmer's pipe and put poison in it and kill his crops. Mr. Pierre, we see the wickedness what's going on
well,
in these days with farmers.
when the government introduce restorative justice,
Eh,
what you expect? That is
You
political
understand?
vengeance. The government agreed
M-
to introduce it.
So, Mr. Pierre, I am calling, that is why I'm calling on farmers. I am not a farmer.
I
I
don't
don't like
wasting
land,
time calling on farmers. I call on the
right?
government.
So, so what? So the point I'm making is, if I am not a farmer and I'm pleading on the farmer and on the farmers' behalf,
Well, the farmer, they must
that's to tell you
believe these
I know.
guys is classless people and commoners, and them is NNP. But I'm saying these guys are not,
Jesus Christ.
even though they're going and vote
So when you're
somebody.
talking, so yeah, so what example are you leaving for young people to
Well,
go in
Deacon say
agriculture?
he had to know who your real NDC is. You
Oh
people
God.
jigging
Uh,
around. Deacon that
uh,
introduced this evil in the country.
uh.
Yes, scholar.
So
Thank you.
I am calling on farmers to do the right thing. Have a good day, Mr. Pierre.
Where is people like Winsborough and individuals? I can't remember the previous chief technical officer. When I remember his name, I'm going to call. Somebody call me and tell me what is the name of the chief technical officer that passed. You people was aware that the farmers was using the water in Maribou. You were aware. Now is the time for you to give the farmers tanks and pump water. If there is not enough water for both parties, bring more water. Yes, scholar, welcome.
You don't listen what people say. Them people and them cutting off the Maribou.
Caller, Caller, caller,
to get water. So the
caller, you don't know about the situation. If you know, prepare to answer question. You don't know about the Maribou situation. Let me tell you again, and then call back after. These farmers have been functioning with using the water together with Maribou Agriculture Station for over 20 odd years. None of these other people had serious increase in productivity. So it means that there was not any serious increase in the consumption of water. The government agriculture station operate between 8 to 4. So if they felt that the farmers using too much water, they could say to the farmers, you have to operate after 4. And by 12 o'clock in the night, you must stop use water so we will have enough. When this arrangement started, the agriculture station had no storage tank. No storage tank. Today, they have about 3 or 4 or more. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, how you doing?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, this government know people have to go to the ballot.
It's some poor people terrorists.
But look what they're doing. You could imagine you get the people next to me inside it. You go be one police state, Mr. Pierre, and there will be lots of political prisoners. Mr. Pierre, anyway,
Yeah.
the hospital, they're talking about building. What will be Grenadians' employment, knowing the construction? They might be working there, but when they finish, what will be Grenadians' employment inside it? Maintenance? What kind of teaching what will be going on inside? Is they preparing any they send any Grenadians to study to be teaching inside it? I don't
This thing is just a means for the government to this prime minister and to get some millions of dollars. Once they take on, all over the world, the construction industry perhaps attract more corruption than any other body. This is an opportunity for the prime minister and his members, I believe, to make a couple $1 million. It has nothing to do with any genuineness.
Mr. Pierre, which medical school what will be connected?
St. George's University is the only one. And St. George's University,
The body parts, what they have to use, they will have to have the labs. Where they getting the body parts from to experiment? I don't understand. I don't understand that because a teaching hospital must be connected to a medical.
Unless they want to turn it into guinea pigs. So Grenada become the area where you bring doctors from outside to experiment. Our population is small.
That is what's going to happen because the teaching hospital, we ain't talking about this medical school because what you could be teaching in the medical school, you got to do your research, you will have your lab and do all the tests, and then information from there.
A teaching hospital is a hospital for medical students to practice on.
That's it.
That is it. So normally, the University of the West Indies have the university hospital. And I believe, I'm not certain, but some people go to the university hospital because the attendance is cheaper. So how would they make money from the teaching hospital? Are we going to be used as guinea pigs? Or is this just an attempt for the prime minister and his team of vultures to make millions of dollars?
Yeah, because they're only talking about the teaching hospital, but they don't talk about what connected to the teaching hospital. And that is what...
They don't know yet, caller, they don't know yet. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. The issue of Maribou, the caller who called before, you say you're working in Maribou, call back. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Mr. Pierre, no human being that love people could justify what is done to the farmers of Maribou is something good and something right. Because the president, the government champion and saying eat what you grow. And if asking people to eat what they grow, and the farmers planting things, the crop, so that they could eat more local, and they cut off the water from them, and causing the crop or the plant to dry up and to spoil. This is heartless and wickedness, and this is people that this government is a government that they don't care about the weather at all. Because how you could say you could care about the people? Because when people plant, when farm planting, they don't only planting to make money. They also eat some of the local things that they plant.
These
Right?
people doing that for a living. One of the men employs wife and 2 children.
Exactly.
He is
And
working otherwise.
that's how them farmers making their living. So how could you do that as a human being? Right?
They
That some
perceive
farmers
that
and
these people are not
some of you
NNP.
are doing that.
They're not the real
Buying
NDC.
from the same farmers. This is only a political weakness. I can understand you.
Political
Everybody can
mischief.
support one party. So if you see INP talking, INDC talking INP or INP
They say
talking
let them
somebody,
starve.
that's the person's choice and
Let
right
the
to
pong stone in the
support
river.
who they want to support. All right? Mr. P, I want to say to the greater people, this is a policy of this government. Right? This is a policy of them, and it's come from the head, from the prime minister, every one of these candidates know
Color, you
about it,
have
and
any?
that's the policy, is to destroy the people going to people at it. I can't see how you could say you love people. And people that work in different ministry, towing that line and do it. Mr. P, if I work in a ministry and I know that
You
person
see,
is the
what has
head
happened?
or that to
They can
maintain the family
contaminate the
and to make a
ministry.
money to feed the family. And
Just
if I
as,
lose my work, then I do that to people.
all right,
Mr. P, have a better
thank you.
afternoon.
And that is why we say, we call and ask for the directors of the bank to resign. If they have any decency left, resign. The same way Deacon trying to contaminate the judiciary. When he created a pension program, the judiciary don't have to pay. This is an act to corrupt the judiciary. How could agriculture technical people agree with that? These people have been using for over 20 years. If you have a problem with water, bring more water. You have the big river in Baltazar. Run lines and pump water. Why are you cutting off the farmers? Let the farmers use water in the night. The Ministry of Agriculture operates generally between 8 to 4. You don't leave sprinklers out in the night. So let the farmers use the water in the night and you use the water in the day. Why individuals in Grela are getting so bad-minded? Why are you pushing these farmers to lose the mind and the patience and do something violent? I don't know who was the advisory leader. When this government get into power, they select advisory leader. And agriculture had about 10 advisory leaders. If anybody have their names, we must make the names public. The time has come for us to make the names of the people who was in the advisory lead public. You Grenadians have to stop hide to do evil. That is why Maurice Bishop committed all this crime in Grenada. Too much of Grenadians hid. So please, I'm on a mission to get the names of the advisory lead. Anybody who knows the name, please call me and tell me. We're going to make the names public. They perhaps that advise the Ministry of Agriculture to practice this terrorism among the poor farmers. If that is not a crime, Cousin Blush from Ticolo, tell me what is a crime. You is the latest radicalized apologist or militant of the NDC. You're attacking everybody personally, left, right, and center. I want you to face the truth now. Go and have a discussion with the people affected in Maribou, Cousin Black. So when you speak with authority. And tell us in the public, what is the justification the Ministry of Agriculture have for cutting off the water from the farmers and watching the things wither? Yes, caller, welcome. The caller from Maribou, you that say you're working on the Maribou and you is a farmer, and you are a worker there and you know, call back and let me ask you a question. Don't just call and make statement. Call back and let me ask you a question. It means that you perhaps is corrupted too. The worst thing that could happen when technical people in the Ministry of Agriculture let themselves be corrupted by politicians. You know, come on. This case is so glaring. The individuals spoke about the situation in Lodbo, the cut off water. We have cameras and phone all about. So as a result of that, they decide to go after the individual. And the parliamentary representative for St. Andrews Northwest, the same parliamentary representative who took back the land from the little sister that sat on the same bench with her. She says she wants to start a project. So she wants the land now to grow food for the hospital. So she wants to take back, they want to throw the individual where he was as a result of the administrator for the parliamentary representative to grow the food for the hospital. Now, if that is not a political crime, then it has to be an agricultural crime. Now, why are we letting this thing deteriorate? I have often blamed the Bar Association in Grenada, our lawyers, for not intervening to quell issues in Grenada. George Brizan wrote, it is a land of conflict. Mr. Blair says like milk and fire. The Americans say it's a false scam. One individual said, the problem with NDC, they don't have referees. He said if NDC have a lot of referees, a little molehill does turn mountain. Now, where are our agriculture mines? Why can't you tell the Minister of Agriculture, don't jackass the thing? Why Deacon Mitchell is so bitter? Why is so evil? Why go after these individuals in Maribou? I understand the minister coming after me because I call his name on radio, not with bad intention, because I heard that he and the parliamentary representative for St. Andrews Northeast have good relationship. So I said, you as the Minister of the Agriculture, get the information from her and give the woman an next piece of land because she promised the sister she sat on the same bench with in school to give her back a piece of land. Or give the money back. She paid the government money. She paid for the surveying. She paid for the lawyer. Give her back the money. Give her 6% interest. So he said, no money for him. Don't give him. Why are you so bitter? I understand you doing that. But what happened to the people, the Maribou people? Why is it you going after decent, hard-working family? The man, his wife, and his 2 children involved in agriculture. He was his spokesman. Rasta was his spokesman. Maurice Bishop take advantage on the Rasta. He jailed them in Cowpen after he lied for them. Deacon come back and lie for the Rasta. He tell them he go legalize weed. Deacon made a movie with what look like weed in front of the police present. And now you go after the poor Rasta. The Rasta didn't learn. The Rasta didn't hustle and go in America. And I know him, he could have gone in America. There were opportunities for him. He didn't go in America. He didn't go in Barbados. He don't go in Trinidad. He don't even go in Carriacou. You have your wife and your children. And the Rasta man tilling the soil. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Go ahead, caller.
the Rastaman is a public servant.
Caller, are you the person from Maribou?
Mr.
Are you the caller? Are you the person from Maribou?
I'm not from Maribou.
Are you the one who working in Maribou?
I'm one of the men here working in Maribou.
Right, so you could answer my question.
So I want to let you know first. The gentleman you're just speaking about is a public servant.
Is a public officer? Yes.
A public servant.
How long you been a public officer?
He works
Caller, caller.
and you know that he's not.
See, that is what you want to do. How long has he been a public officer? 29 years? What public work he doing? Supernumerary? A daily paid worker? The same workers government said they're going to make permanent? You call them supernumeraries, temporary workers. 26 years. Why you cut? That's why you cut off his water? You just recognize that he's a public officer to cut off his water? You is a public officer too. You speaking on radio. When the next government come, you want them come and cut off your water? Why is it the permanent secretary in agriculture? And I don't know the permanent secretary name here. I have to try to find out your name. You are playing snake in the grass. And the 12, the advisory lead in government. We have to find out your name and make it public. You all are terrorists. You all are poor people terrorists. The minute the government of Grenada must justify cutting all the agriculture people water. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Yeah, listen, remember last year, the government, those guys are evil and the wicked. Remember last year, the guys that went in parliament and passed a bill. If you have to use water from the river, you have to apply it to the Ministry of Works or wherever and pay a fee. So that is the main plan. Those guys who have to use our water have to pay a fee. I think it's $200 or something or $300 something. The men so evil. Water from natural resources we have to be paid for farmers. The man evil, man. It's about time for the men go. Yes, Grenada have to get serious and get up and vote us in the next election. The men don't care about people. The men don't care about farmers. The guys have to know what's happening around the world now. And in this present time, that is what we do to our own people. The guys are not evil. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
If these individuals are big name in the country, the NDC not doing them that, you know. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, caller.
if the man is a because the man is a public officer.
What public officer? The man is a daily paid worker working government, working on the farm in agriculture.
The man say
Oh.
Mr. Pierre, I listen to the man. The man say he working for $1,200. That cannot sustain him and his family.
Well, you see, this
So
caller,
that is like
this individual must understand her in tongue long. The time has come for us to go behind the jugglers. Not this small, this guy that calling is a small fry. You don't understand what's going on. The permanent secretary in agriculture, the chief technical officer, Winsboro retire now.
Mr. Pierre, if you're saying that because he's a public officer, he don't supposed to do nothing on the side, right? He's supposed to live by that $1,200, that means $1,200, and then you have to take out NS out of that. You have to take out the
And the one that call in the and
then you have to take out
caller, the one that call in there, I don't know how he could call and say that to. You must be thinking somebody in tongue you're talking to. I in tongue long. This thing is
Mr.
political
Pierre,
vengeance. And the issue
and
is
Mr. Pierre,
the guy no politician. The guy no active.
Mr.
The individual doesn't go in political
meeting. 3%. You still have to take 3% for the susu.
Caller, you don't know, you understand.
So, what that could do? So the man must go and do a little farming, and the man doing the farming for 20-something years. All the time you don't bug the man. No, you don't bug the man. No, you know the man is a public servant.
I tell you, if this guy had if his surname was a different surname, they don't touch him. That is why we have to see the challenge we have in this country. We have too much of people pretending, playing snake in the grass. When we have a crisis, there are people you expect to speak. If you have a medical issues, you want to hear the doctor's view. You don't have to agree with them. You want to hear the herbalist view too. If you have a legal issue, you want to hear the advice from lawyers. Now you have an issue with agriculture. Government had set up an advisory body. About 10 or 12 of them. Yes, caller, thank you.
All right.
Government had set up an advisory body. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. Government had set up an advisory body with 10 or 12 people. They don't tell us how much they pay them. The time has come for us to get the name of these people and start to show it in the public domain. We have too much of individuals in Grenada that is corrupt and playing snake in the grass. In the same way, the government attacking those who speaking and propagating lies on them. And the newest militant fighting to convince the NDC that he is a real NDC. That is my cousin, Comrade Blash, cousin Blash from Ticolor, fighting to convince NDC he is not an ordinary NDC, no. He is a real NDC. He afraid they call him NNP. So he's fighting to convince them that he is a real NDC. So he's attacking people personally with lies. The time has come for us to call out some of these people and put their name in the public domain. And I am asking now for the names of the advisory leads. Anybody knows who was the 10 or 12 advisory lead? Please tell us. That's supposed to be public information. And why is it the chief technical officer, the agronomist in Maribou, why you let yourself get corrupted by the government? You're supposed to have answers. If you have farmers using water and you realize the water flow, I don't know the terminology you're using, the amount of water is available is insufficient for that area. One of the methods you could use is a timeline. Say between 7 o'clock and 6 o'clock, that is for the government. None of you cannot use water during that time. Use water in the night. You never did that. When this arrangement started, the Ministry of Agriculture did not have water tanks. Now you have water tank. What is your justification for cutting off the water from the farmers? Does the Ministry of Agriculture go tomatoes? Does the Ministry of Agriculture go lettuce? Does Maribou in the Ministry of Agriculture, do you go cabbage? Do you grow pak choi? Do you grow kalaloo? Do you grow watercress? These crops need more water than potato. more water than cassava. What are the crops the Ministry of Agriculture grows that warrants them cutting off the farmers in Lodbo? And then the parliamentary representative and the minister now threatening. Now what happened to us? Do we have to wait till it affects us personally to be concerned? Where are the compassion, the empathy, the sensitivity for the farmer? Do you want the farmer's wife and his children go and look to government for a job? The farmer provide employment for his wife and children. He is a third generation farmer. What is the justification for that? The chief technical officer, Winsboro, I know you may have good relationship with them still. Give them some advice because you would have been aware of this situation. Daniel Lewis, you are aware of the situation. Judge Philip, you know of the situation. All of you was in agriculture long. You're not there now, but you know of the situation. Express your voice. Don't wait till it deteriorate. The government decide to starve these people because of Deacon policy. Deacon introduced restorative justice in the country. And he decided that people must identify the real NDC so the other NNP go starve. That is what you want in Grenada? That is what we want. I have been on that subject matter 2 years. More than 2 years. Because I said this subject, this policy is going to cause fracture, bitterness, hatred in our country. So I appeal to all those who could intervene now. Intervene now. The parliamentary representative and the Minister of Agriculture, you all are bandits, political bandits. Why you all behaving like poor people terrorists? We come to the end of the program and we want to thank you for participating. And this program, we speak with a lot of passion about it. We seriously angry about what is going on. And we believe those who could intervene must intervene now. Thank you. We're back with you again next week. Holy Week next week. We're back with you between 12 and 1. We will not be here on Good Friday, but all the other days we will be here on our program. Thank you very much.